It's time to pick my July TBR. Similar to last month and my June TBR, I'm gonna keep things kind of flexible. Last month, I was coming off of a very bad reading month and I just needed the flexibility to mood read and not be too strict on a TBR so I could just follow what I was enjoying and not burn myself out. You haven't seen my June wrap up yet, but you will in a couple of days. It's gonna be good. I had a good reading month. That worked really well for me, so I want to do the same thing for July. I won't have too many obligations. It's just going to be a possibility pile and vibes. I will say I actually ended up reading a lot of the things I even talked about in my June TBR video, so there's a good chance I'll read most of these for sure anyway, if it's anything like last month. First up, pulling 5 prompts from my TBR jar. New author, on TBR the longest, backlist book, 5-star prediction, not on immediate TBR. Let's start with talking about one of the books that's been on my TBR the longest. I also wrote last 5 to 10 because in my head I was like, okay, I can sort my Goodreads shelf to see what's been on my TBR the longest and pick something from the last like 5 or 10, not necessarily has to be the very oldest thing on my TBR. And this one works well for the month of July because in July there will be Summerween. If you don't know, Summerween is a yearly read-a-thon that's hosted by Gabby from Gabby Reads. It is a read-a-thon designed to bring the Halloween spirit to the middle of the heat of summer. And one of the prompts is to read a book that I think has been on your TBR for over a year. So I already had a book picked for that. And I'm going to try to pick up Adrift by Lisa Brideau. This is a thriller book that the author actually reached out to me and very kindly sent me quite a while ago. And unfortunately, I've just let it sit on my shelves for too long and I definitely need to read it. This is an isolation stranded kind of thriller, I believe. A woman wakes up on a sailboat in the remote Pacific Northwest with no memory of who she is or how she got there. She finds a note, but it's more warning than comfort. Start over, don't make yourself known, don't look back. I have said before that I don't like books when main characters wake up and they don't know anything about themselves, but when there's this thriller element of it, like there's a note that she left to herself, I feel like that could work for me, and I've heard pretty good things about this. Now, I will say for Summerween, my plans this year, just while we're here, we can talk about the rest of it. I have been participating in Summerween every single year. I always vlog it, I always look forward to it. There have been many times where I also happen to be moving either right before or right after Summerween because I tend to move in the summer. My partner's a veterinarian. He's been going through getting specialized, so we've moved for him to do an internship and a residency, and now he's finally done and we're moving back home. And I'm going to be moving over Summerween. And this is a big move. It's a Florida to North Carolina move. They're always big moves and they're hard and they're stressful and it's difficult to not have all your books with you and vlogging and all of that. And then, you know, getting internet set up at the new house and figuring out uploading. It's all a whole thing that I went back and forth on how I wanted to manage, and I decided I don't want to stress myself out. I thought about even trying to do Summerween a week early, but even then, like I'm so busy preparing for the move that there's just no way that I could really work it out that way. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm going to do daily YouTube shorts uploads to just update on how Summerween is going. And some days that might be I got a lot of reading done, I got to listen to a whole audiobook because I was in the car moving or unpacking boxes. Some days that might be not very much reading was done at all. But I think that's gonna be the most manageable, simple way for me to still feel the joy of participating in an event that I look forward to without making it a burden on myself. So I don't have huge reading plans for Summerween either. I'm gonna try to get to this Adrift book. I have 2 other arcs that I think could be good for Summerween. A Game in Yellow by Haley Piper is one that I'm really looking forward to. This is a horror book that sounds kind of similar to the Book of Most Precious Substance by Sarah Gran, which I really enjoyed. So I'm really wanting to pick that one up. And then I also did not get around to the new Ruth Ware book in June. So I would like to get to that in July, but I'm also like, will I be able to get through 3 reading with my eyes books over Summerween, or will I need to balance the audiobooks? Realistically, I'm probably gonna need to balance the audiobooks. So that's kind of the general idea of books I'd like to read over the week. I don't know what I'll actually end up reading, but in June I also started doing short form content. Not for the first time, I guess, but for the first time at large. This is the first time I've ever like really prioritized short form content and actually been enjoying it. I was just feeling inspired creatively to just try some new things, and so I brought my TikTok back to life. I've been posting those videos here on YouTube Shorts and on Instagram Reels as well, so you've probably seen those out in the wild. I'm mostly posting daily on TikTok, and then most of those videos are getting dispersed over to YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels, but not all of them. So if you do want to see mostly daily updates from me on book reviews or book recommendations or just thoughts about things that are going on in the community, my TikTok handle is the same as it is here Ashley's Little Library, so you can go follow me over there if you'd like. I was a little nervous in the beginning too of like posting them also to YouTube. I was like, are people gonna be annoyed at that, of seeing all these YouTube shorts? Like, do you just want long form content from me here? Is it gonna be an inundation of content if I'm posting the YouTube shorts over here all the time? But actually YouTube is a platform where my short form content is performing the best. So I'm gonna take that as a sign that people are enjoying it. I'm definitely enjoying doing it. It's been a fun, just different way to get little bits of creativity every day, because it's really easy to quickly edit a little short form video and try different editing things. And I don't know, I'm just having a lot more fun with it than sitting down and doing long form content all the time. Still love long form content. That's not going away either, but it's just been a fun little new addition to do. So that's the plan for Summerween: short form content here, TikTok, Instagram. That's where you can find me. Next up, I'll pick a backlist book. I have been doing this thing lately where after I finish a book and I don't know what I want to read next, I just go pick up like 3 or 4 books off of my shelves, take them to my couch, and just start reading each one in a random order, and whichever one grabs me first is the one that I continue reading. And I did that with Works and Crake by Margaret Atwood in June, and I really liked it. I just picked a different thing to read at the time after I read a different first chapter and then decided to go more into that one. So I'm ready to pick this one up in July. I have read the second book in the series before. This is a trilogy of dystopian cli-fi books, and when I was in college, took a class on environmental literature. I went to school for an English degree, and we ended up reading the second book in the series, The Year of the Flood, as part of that course, along with a bunch of other books that were all really great and that got me really into environmental fiction. So I do know some things about the series. I remember some things, but for the most part, I'm pretty good at wiping my brain of things. And so I'm going into this kind of with a fresh start, reading from the beginning for the first time. The synopsis of this one is very vague. It does not give you a lot of information, and the book starts in a way where it just throws you into the story. And instantly, just getting back into reading the first chapter of this, I remembered why I like Margaret Atwood's writing so much. She is so talented, and it is just a different caliber of writing from the typical book that I pick up off my shelf. It is so well done. So I'm really excited to pick this up and get back into it in July. For my 5-star prediction, I have Blood Over Brighthaven by Emma Wong. I feel like I almost only see 5 stars for this, so it feels like something that should be a 5-star for me. I don't know too much about it. I haven't looked into it too much, but it's a fantasy story. I think there's some academia settings in here. I honestly don't want to read too much into it because I'm just starting to really get more into fantasy, and I feel like part of what's so fun for me about exploring the fantasy genre is being so unsure about where the stories are going to go, just because it's something different and something fresh. And so when I'm seeing these books get hyped up, and when I hear like certain buzzwords or things that people like about it, like intelligent, great writing, great characters, I'm like, cool, that's enough for me. I'll give it a try. If everyone loves it, maybe this will be the next fantasy book that I could love. I've seen great things about both this and The Sword of Kaigen from M.L. Wong. They're both standalone fantasy novels, which also really piques my interest as someone who's just getting into fantasy. Finding standalones is really nice instead of big commitments to super long series. Based on what I've heard about the books, I feel like this one is probably a better fit for me, at least right now, than The Sword of Kaigen. So I'm interested to jump into it, see how it goes. Hopefully it's a 5-star. For new author, this could be a debut author or new to me, and the book I'm gonna pick is an author that's new to me. I also don't know if they're a debut author or not. Okay, they are not. But this is her adult debut because previously she's written 3 young adult novels. The book I'm talking about is The Other Side of Now by Paige Harbison. I had a digital arc of this that I was supposed to get to in June, but I ran out of time in the month. I didn't quite get to this. I've really been looking forward to it. And then the publisher sent me a physical copy, and they included this little keychain with it too. So I'll definitely be picking this one up in July. This is like a light fantasy novel where this woman is going on this vacation, and when she gets there, she realizes she's somehow in this like alternate version of her life. I think there's a romance element too. It sounds like there's romantic interest, and then it seems like it's mostly to do about her best friend, because her best friend died and they always dreamed of moving to the small village together, and so now she's going to the small village, but when she gets there, her best friend's alive but wants nothing to do with her. So this is a once in 2 lifetimes chance to reconnect with her friend and repair what she broke, or else risk losing her all over again. It sounds like exactly the type of book I would love, so I will definitely be picking it up. And then for not on immediate TBR, I do now have my Goodreads shelf separated from my want to read and my on my radar books. So generally that's how I think about that prompt, is I can look at things that are on my radar. I have a lot more on my radar than I have on my immediate want to read. I don't know if this actually ended up making it to my shelf or not on Goodreads, but this also just kind of counts because this is a book that I had sent to me from the publisher that wasn't necessarily on my immediate TBR, but I thought it sounded cute. And I just noticed, because it fell out of the book, that it came with a little sticker too. I love all these little things from the publishers. It also comes a little postcard. This is The Ripple Effect by Maggie North. Isn't that just such a pretty cover? I love the look of this. This is a grumpy sunshine romance book where a grumpy exposition and a sunshine psychologist must fake an engagement to save his relationship therapy startup. It is a sparkling novel about starting over. I'm also trying to figure out where this is set because this is just so gorgeous, but it doesn't say. I don't know if this is like Alaska vibes, Canada vibes, the Midwest, the Great Lakes. I don't know, but it's beautiful. And I hope the story is just as beautiful. So that's it for my reading prompt plans. I have a ton of other books I could pick up in July. I just don't know what kind of month it's gonna be. I don't know what kind of genre I'm gonna be leaning towards. I don't know if it's gonna be more physical reads or more audiobooks. I also have been finding my reading is quite influenced lately by whatever audiobooks I'm getting monthly from the Libro FM ALC program, because they've been having some great picks, and I don't know what those are gonna be yet for July, but I imagine I'll pick up one or two of those. I do have a couple more books sitting here that I can show you that I'm pretty sure I'll read in July. The first is The Turn Glass, because I didn't get to this in June, but I'm feeling pretty confident that I'll get to it in July. This is the book that is a mystery. It's a dual POV or dual timeline mystery where you can read the book this way for one timeline or this way for the other timeline. You can go back and forth. You can read one and then the other. I'm really interested in the concept of books like this. I saw another one announced the other day that's like this too. It's like half memoir, half thriller. I'm like, I know nothing else about the book, but just that format makes me want to pick it up. The other book I have sitting here is another one from a publisher. It's If I Told You I'd Have to Kiss You by May Marvel. This is a sapphic romance that is Mr. and Mrs. Smith, but it's sapphic, so it's Mrs. and Mrs. Smith. It's a romance between a spy and a hacker, but they don't know that they work together at the same agency. I think they're exes, and then they have to work together to get through something that goes wrong. It sounds very cute. And anything else that happens beyond then is going to be a mystery to me and a mystery to you until you find out in my July wrap up. So that's it for my reading plans for July. Let me know down below which of these books you're most excited to hear me talk about this month. I don't know exactly what videos I have planned for the month because everything's just gonna be a little bit in chaos. But like I said, the short form content is pretty reliable right now. So if you're wanting to keep up with me, that is the best way to do it. I will have my June wrap up live in a couple of days, and I'll try to get at least one reading blog up in the month of July. I'll still have weekly long form videos up beyond that too. They'll just probably be like recommendation videos or something a little bit different. But that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.